Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have tremendous respect for Dr. Oliverson. We've worked together on policy on a number of subjects. We often sometimes start in a different place, and we ultimately end up in a place where we can find some pragmatic policy. And if I understand the argument is we can't do this because it just lowers the age of what I proposed. But the most important part of the debate is the why. I mean, why can't we do that? I mean, I can understand I'm a reasonable person, I'm a rational person. I don't get to make the decisions all by myself, but I typically would hope to have a little bit more than because I said so as a response. I'd like to know why. I'd like to know, well, okay, is 16 not appropriate? Well, what about 16 and a half? What about 17? What about in a case of life or death? I would think that, as we often say, with 254 counties, 30 million people, 2 time zones, not everything we do fits for everybody. We can't have a one-size-fits-all, but that seems to be the policy here. And maybe I could accept it and respectfully disagree if we're just trying to do something new, but we are not. And so that's the part where I have to wonder or question the policy proposal, the policy choice, that rather than maintain a level of consistency and look to the area of medicine where 16-year-olds do have an opinion that will be taken into account, and to know that we are providing health care at that level and at that age, that we're not doing it here. And so I hope that when you take this vote, you're not taking this vote because we're just going to back up the author because you'd rather not lower the threshold. I hope we take this vote because you think, well, Trey's just wrong. We don't think 16-year-olds should be making this decision. Trey's wrong. We don't think that a 16-year-old and their parent and guardian should be making this decision. Trey is wrong. We think that the best approach is just to wipe it out altogether, and there is nothing that we can do that is less intrusive, that is perhaps a little bit more reasonable and less erratic. If you take that position, well, then certainly don't support the amendment, but please just don't do it because, sometimes we make policy for the worst reasons. That's because we can, and sometimes that hurts people, and I think it'll hurt people in this instance. And so I'd ask you to vote yes on the amendment. I'm asking for a record vote.
Mr. Martinez Fischer sends up an amendment. The amendment is not acceptable to the author. The question occurs on the adoption of the amendment. This is a record vote. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Dr. Oliverson voting nay. Show Ms. Click voting nay. Show Mr. Martinez Fischer voting aye. Have all voted? There being 56 ayes, 81 nays, the amendment fails to adopt. The following amendment, the clerk will read the amendment.